Christopher Titus, and this is the Armageddon Update. Now, we all have a crazy uncle or a cousin somewhere with a mild genetic defect that is constantly destroying our family life. You know, he's a wrecking ball with your bloodline and last name. He's a dude that's mad, drunk, and belligerent at weddings or throws himself on grandma's coffin at the funeral. It's always about him, you know? He's always high and or drunk, uneducated, and no one is sure how he makes his money. And when you ask him, hey, how's that recycled medical waste business you were starting going? He always says something like, I ain't doing that no more. I got something better. His life is a mess. Like Gary Busey and R. Kelly spliced DNA to create Axl Rose. And you are so tired of him. Well, that guy I just described, ladies and gentlemen, is now President of the United States. We are so used to stupid now. Something that would shut down the government in the last 5 decades and get you thrown out of the White House like David Duke at one of Snoop Dogg's house parties.
Run, motherfucker, run.
It's just an everyday occurrence in Trump's America in 2019. You know, you're getting used to it. Do you get that? It's creeping in. It's like climate change, except with stupid. Things are getting dumber every day. And you Trump voters, I love you, but you are definitely moron deniers. Our president, Uncle Doofus McDumbass, went on the world stage and again embarrassed a country of 330 million people. How did he do it? Well, let me count the ways. First of all, he said the G7 supported him in his ridiculous trade war, and all the countries went, nah, bro, that wasn't us. In fact, England's prime minister and one-man Benny Hill tribute band, Boris Johnson, said, we'd like to dial it down a bit if we could, absolutely. The difference between Boris Johnson and Donald Trump is Boris Johnson plays an idiot. Trump is an idiot. See, Trump would be the one who asked Boris,
tell you what,
About the rabbits.
not tonight.
Now, Trump said he missed the climate change meeting because he was meeting with Germany and India. Except Germany and India were at the climate change meeting. He said China called him to go back and do a trade deal. China said, we didn't call, bro. You've been catfish. We've been ghosting you. Ha ha. He lied. He looked addled, and then, in his last speech, instead of bringing the world together, tried to whore his resort for the next meeting.
Very importantly, only 5 minutes from the airport. The airport's right next door.
We have lost our way. You know, some Americans are fine with this man leading a country that can't speak the language of that country.
An anonymous, really an anonymous.
A man with the vocabulary of a fourth grader after a traumatic brain injury.
God bless the United States.
On opioids.
I don't know what I said. I don't remember.
In a coma. Whose wife obviously can't wait to get around a real man. Look at this picture. Yeah, that picture would have ended movie night at my house. Do you remember who we used to have lead us? And I'm not talking about the last guy. I'm talking about the last 4 guys. The eloquence.
We instead begin a new century and a new millennium with a hopeful affirmation of human rights and human dignity.
Or,
you're not going to raise that fucking price.
do you remember the last guy at the G7?
The terms of peace may be negotiated by political leaders, but the fate of peace is up to each of us.
From a real president to a low-rent travel agent, even this guy who we mocked because we thought he didn't speak well.
We've got too much to do in a world beset by terror, poverty, and disease to allow a policy difference to prevent us from working together.
Well, we were wrong, W. We apologize because we had no idea what was coming.
It's political bullshit. She said he's a pussy. And you can tell them to go themselves.
To all of you, this isn't normal. But it is now. If you're okay with how things are going, the pussy grab and the incompetence, farmers losing billions, debt up $4 trillion, deficit $1 trillion a year, people's livelihoods over because the best deal maker craps the bed on the economy daily, a guy who couldn't sell water, steak, or vodka. You get that's food, water, and alcohol. How do you fail at selling things that keep people alive? A guy who bankrupted casinos. Well, he's now in charge of the biggest economy in the world. You good that our elected Uncle Douchebag is embarrassing us worldwide? Then maybe you should move to Russia. Because as we all know, Putin's running the show now anyway. Dos Vidonia, bitches. I'm Christopher Titus, and this is the Armageddon Update. Coming up next, Josh Wolf.